Good morning. Good morning, friends. What I'm hearing is more and more people are saying it's time for more authenticity. It's time for more realness, and less like bottom line thinking, which is important in business, of course. But there's just a resurgence of being human, of recognizing each other's struggles in a more profound way, and it makes me happy. It makes me really happy. So this morning we are joined by the lovely Ilana Khiev, and she's head of wellness of MedScheme, and we are just so happy to have you with us, Ilana.
Good morning, Mark. Very nice. Thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure. Let us get into a little settling practice before we get into our conversation with Ilana today. And, you know, this is what we do. If you can imagine, your mind is like this. And when you get stressed and when you get busy, it looks like that. So every now and again, we have to just stop. We have to push pause. And then all of this can just settle, you see. And once it settles, we have clarity. But if you're really, really busy and you're really stressed and you, I don't know, overwhelmed by the pandemic and loss and grief, it's time to take more breaks. It's time to take care of yourself. Burnout is a real thing. So let's just push that pause button. Let's do 3 beautiful deep breaths. Breathe with me. Okay, nice. Breathing in through the nose, nice and smooth and slow. And then exhaling it slowly out the nose, breathing. And again, breathing in. And then slowly exhaling out the nose. And then last big breath in. Then opening your mouth and gently sigh that breath out. So take a moment just to recognize where we're at today. Take a moment to think about what is the most important thing in your life. These are difficult times, unprecedented times. And at these times, we reflect on what are the most important things in my life. I often think, if I was to die tonight, what would I do today? Or how would I live my life differently? And that always used to be a strange question, but these days it becomes so relevant. Let's blink those eyes open. And I'd like to think, yeah, you know, we've lost people due to this pandemic, and what are the most important things in our life? What is the most important thing in your life? And please engage with the Q&A. Would love to hear what is the most important thing in your life, just so that we can get some feedback from you. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the platform. And we are so honored and blessed to have Ilana Khiev with us today. We are exploring this question: what is the most important thing in your life? I'm sure you know, and I know generally what answers are going to come, because a lot of people say, well, that's an obvious thing. The obvious thing. What is the most important thing? Good morning to Gerald. Hi, Gerald. Welcome. Nice to see you here. Come on, where those, I can see the fingers are cold this morning, Ilana. People are not tapping on their keyboards. Okay, there we go. We're getting some comments coming through. Family, yeah, family is vitally important. So thank you for sharing. Health, says somebody else. My health, yeah, my health. Family, God, family, friends, and relatives. Beautiful, beautiful. Such a stunning thing. Wendy, myself, and my family. How about that? You can see Wendy's been following this program closely, because really a powerful answer there. What are the most important things? And I'd like to just touch on what Wendy's saying. We have a mental health ambassador by the name of Jeff McDonald, and Jeff is a very famous person. Jeff goes all over the world and talks about his mental health breakdown, and how it took him a while to recover. I see your little boy, another comment coming through, your little boy, my own family, beautiful. And Jeff was saying that his mental health, he had a mental health crisis. And he realized that even though he thought his family was the most important thing in his life, that without his own health and without his own journey, he would not be able to serve his family in the way that he would like, in the way that his family would like Jeff to be there and show up for them. So our health has to come first, friends. And please, everyone seems to ignore their mental health, physical health. And physical health seems to be such a big thing because it shows, right? We can see it. We can see your muscles, and you fit, and like Hermine having lost all that weight and she looks amazing. You can see it. You can see she's physically healthy, but nobody sees mental health. It's invisible. And it's like, oh, well, it's invisible. I don't need to work on it, but it does show. It shows in what we say. It shows in how we show up. It shows in how we behave. And you have to deal with that voice in your head all day long. All day long. You've got, and if we're not mentally well, and if we're not feeling good, and we're overwhelmed and we're stressed, that inner voice is going to sound more and more bleak and more painful. So just exploring emotions for ourselves today, very important to recognize how we feel, really important to understand that inner voice and what it's saying to us all the time. And what we've been through in lockdown has been tremendous. Are we the same people now as we were then? Are we better off now, or are we worse off now because of the lockdown? So I guess I'm now focusing on Ilana this morning, and being such a champion as the head of wellness. And I can tell you, Ilana, that there's one client of ours who was head of wellness, and she had to leave her job, and she was working head of wellness for a very large organization. The pandemic completely overwhelmed her, and you can imagine, because you're head of wellness, this has been close to your heart. You are in charge of other people's wellness, but at the same time, it's having a massive impact on you personally, because you are a human being. And I guess the question is, what are some of the emotions you went through, experienced by yourself and your family, perhaps during lockdown, and how did you manage that?
Well, Mark, I think in the beginning, especially last year, hearing there's a lockdown, this has never ever happened anyway. So it was a shock. And well, I think last year was a bit better because Namibia didn't experience the whole COVID thing so bad. And with this year, with the third wave going up, I mean, this anxiousness, this tightness in your chest that you just can't explain. I think you spoke about it in one of your previous talks, and it's like, explain to me, if someone asks you, explain to me that tightness in your chest, where did it come from? You can't, like, I don't know, something can trigger. I can drive in my car and I drive past someone, and then suddenly I just have this anxious feeling. I've got this tightness in my chest, and I can't tell you where it is coming from. And then what really, really hit me hard lately was my daughter. She's 7 years old, and she was just sad. She was so sad lately. And I was asking her, but love, what is wrong? What? Please explain to me. Like, are you hungry? Are you sick? It's so mommy doesn't understand. And I started asking all these questions, sitting her down, and she just said, Mommy, I don't want to be at home anymore. I miss my friends. I miss my teacher. I miss going out. And I think I'm an adult and I get this anxious feelings. We don't even understand what our kids are going through. What they will be going through in the next 10 years, because this will have an effect on them. It's having an effect on me. It's having an effect on my family. So I think the one thing that's really giving me peace is we're going through this together.
I appreciate your vulnerability and sharing a little bit with us about what you feel, about what your family is going through. And it's so sad that the little ones are having less of a life that we had when we were children, and we've never had to deal with this before. You've never had to deal with this before. And this is what big leaders, top of their game, are like literally crying, saying, we don't know what to say, we don't know what to do. And there's just this uncertainty. You speak of tightness in the chest. And if you don't know what that is, you think you've got a heart problem, or you think you've got some serious physical problem, and you can go to the hospital and you arrive there and they can do all the tests they want, and they'll tell you you're just suffering from anxiety. And I know with children, can come to us, they don't know what anxiety is. And it's very difficult for them to put it in words. And often when a child says, my tummy is sore, that's one sign that they are feeling anxious, because they're feeling it in their little tummies. And it's really, really, really so sad. And, you being in such a huge position, having to take on so much responsibility, and then still having to deal with your own family and your own anxiety. And Ilana, I know that recently you've been through some challenging times. Can you share a little bit about what that looks like?
Just to give you an idea, I mean, close family, my husband, parents, sisters, we are 12. We are very close knit, and out of 12 people, 9 of us have had COVID. That includes my kids. So with me, I was the first one that had COVID, and I think that was quite well. Afterwards, went back to work. But when my kids got it, like lying awake at night, just looking at that little body, are they going to breathe? Are they going to wake up the next morning? I think, and that made me so anxious. I didn't want to go out of the house. I didn't want to go back to the office. I told my boss, just give me some time. I need some time to just stay at home and just make sure my kids are fine. But the thing is, we had 2 very close family members that's very sick, not getting a hospital bed. That's difficult to know you're on oxygen. So I think follow the rules, stay at home, wear your mask, distance, but also remember people are important, because even with this anxiousness, the support I got from my boss, from my colleagues, from my family, from my friends, I mean, if it wasn't for them, the chances of getting through this probably wouldn't have happened. But just knowing that people care, people are there for you, you just need to talk to people. People will listen. That's why we have friends. That's why we have a family.
The most important thing is family. And in this way, family can really be there for us, can support us, can carry us when we are down. But oh my word, out of 12 people, 9 of you had COVID. And being a parent is no easy job. It's an extreme sport, really. I mean, my son, every time he gets a fever, it's like give me the fever instead of him. And the levels of stress, that your own personal stress and having to deal with that. But I'm so happy that you all recovered, and it's just amazing that you had the support of your colleagues, of your boss, of your friends. And I guess this is a call to all of us at this time, is that we need to up our support. We need to find creative ways to support people that are going through a crisis. And you might not think that their crisis is as big as anybody else's crisis, but to that person it is. And how can we show up better for them? how can we hold space for them, and just asking them if they're okay is actually just not enough. We have to do more, we have to be more, and that's only if you can. Most of us are in the state where we can't even think about showing up well, even for our own families, never mind other people. So it's hugely challenging. As much as you are there for your family, Ilana, and I can see that you are. I mean, really, you are. Are you able to create some space for yourself? What does that look like if you are able to?
With homeschooling and a full-day job and just trying to keep it all together, I don't have a lot of time for myself. But I must say, since I started doing the You Are Not Alone sessions, the breathing has really helped a lot. And then I love people. I love talking to people, and my go-to is if I'm having a bad day, if something is wrong, I phone my sister, I phone a friend, and I just cry it out. And I just cry. And I tell them, they usually don't know what's going on, and they just wait. They know me. Just wait a few seconds, and they're like, okay, tell me what's wrong. Do you want to talk about it? And that's just how whether you do it in the shower, just get it out. I mean, like, don't keep it in. Just let it out there and talk to people. I think, like I said, like I told you the other day, the car you drive, the house you stay in, does it really mean anything now? Or does the people around us and yourself, like the burnout session that you had yesterday where you spoke, like, if you ask someone what is important to you, everyone is like my health and my family, but what about yourself? If you're not there, then your health and your family, they're not important anymore. So you need to look after yourself as well. You are important. And we must all remember, friends, family, we have so many people being sick now. Just be there for each other and let's get through this together.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a meaningful time as well as a terrifying time, because don't wait for another time to express how you feel about a loved one. Don't wait until it's too late. Tell them how you feel now. Let's be more vulnerable. Let's be more loving and more open, and express gratitude and meaningful time. It's hard. It's a hard time, but it's meaningful. I think it's waking a lot of us up, actually, from a deep sleep. So yeah, Ilana, it's been just so amazing to talk to you, and you know what I'm hearing about space. Have the space to have those conversations, to cry, to sit in silence with yourself, to practice gratitude, to practice journaling, whatever it is. Make an appointment with yourself. And I said to the one lady, what meditation do you like to do? She says, no, I don't meditate. I'm watching, Love Island. I said, Love Island? I don't know. That's some TV program. But she said, that makes me happy. So every day I watch one episode in this terrible time. I said, okay, fine. If it's Love Island, then make the space to watch Love Island, you know? So yeah, that's really important, is to just make a little bit of a space in your day. Psychologist during the Second World War who was imprisoned in a Nazi concentration camp was Viktor Frankl. And he has a wonderful quote that said, between stimulus and response, there is a space. And in that space lies my freedom to choose my response. And in that lies my growth and my happiness. So there's like a stimulus, we react, but we can respond instead if we create the space. And if you create a space by reaching out to your family and friends, that's the space you needed for the day. Or you stop, you take a pause, even if it's 3 seconds, you've created a space. You've created a space where you can respond or be response able rather than reactive. And that is where our happiness and our freedom lie, according to Viktor Frankl. Ilana, we're going to move into a little practice now. But I'd like to encourage you. I don't know if you have a pen nearby, or friends, I don't know if you have a pen nearby, but you know, there's a thumb, and I'm going to take my pen and I'm going to do like this, a pause button. You see there? So if you can draw a pause button on your finger, on your thumb, we're going to do this little exercise together. Chew, how many pens have you got, Ilana?
None of them are working.
So if you don't have a pen, imagine that your thumb is the pause button. Okay, now you're going to sit like this. All right? In your lap, you're just going to sit like that. And every time, okay, I'm gonna lead us through. Right, let's do this together. Let's take in a deep breath. Come, friends, breathe with me. Breathing in through the nose and exhaling it out the mouth. Your breath, let's breathe normally. Focus all of your awareness just on your breath. Feel the air coming in to the nostrils and going out a little bit warmer. Keep your attention on that process, if you can. This is mindfulness. And you'll find that your mind has already wandered to something else. If that happens, push pause on your thumb. Say, I'm pausing that for later, and come back to my breath. Breathing nice and smooth. I've got my pause button ready. So if a noise distracts me or if a thought arises, I'm going to push pause, and then I'm going to return to my breathing. Let's try that together. Don't forget to push pause, and come back to your breath. And now let's take in a deep breath in through the nose. And slowly exhale out the mouth. And gently blinking your eyes open. So there we go. I've got mine on for the rest of the day. So every time I look at my thumb, I'm going to be like, oh yeah, push pause. Push pause on maybe someone says something to you and you don't like it and you're going to like react and say something you're going to regret later. You say, push pause, think, breathe. Okay, now I'm going to answer that person. If you get an email and you quickly respond, maybe not a good idea. Give that email some breathing time, then respond, you know? So remember when your mom and dad, they said to you, count to 10 before you say something or, you know, react to something, count to 10, you're giving yourself some space. And even if it's 3 seconds, you're giving yourself some space. And Ilana, thank you so much again for your vulnerability, for sharing a little bit of your life as a leader, as a mom, as a wife, as a sister. You know, just where you are, where you're at, has already changed the world. Thank you for being such a valuable part of this program and for shining your light from your heart and healing everyone that sees or hears your message today. Thank you so much for being here, Ilana.
All right, Mark, thank you so much for having me.
It's our pleasure. Good friends. So that's homework, is to push pause. Try keep that going for the weekend. You know, if your husband says something irritating or your mother-in-law says something, push pause. Give yourself some space and then respond. Well, this is really, really a good practice to get into. It's very good for our mental health. Remember the words of Dr. Viktor Frankl, one of the most famous psychologists. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. And in that space lies my freedom to choose my response. And in that lies my growth and my happiness. So maybe I can make that a happy pause. Great. We'll see you Monday. Don't forget, we've got 2 amazing ladies lined up for Monday. We're going to be talking about meaning and purpose and mindfulness. And then we've got 2 more days left of this. Can you believe it? Today is day 12, day 13 on Monday, day 14 on Tuesday. Please join us for the last couple of sessions. They're going to be amazing. Have a wonderful weekend. Please be safe. Please be safe. Look after your health, your family's health too. And we'll be back shortly. Thank you, Ilana. Have a good weekend, everybody. Bye-bye.